Know that while this is a comedy podcast, this episode is no laughing matter. The disappearance of Kyle Roush might be laced with hyperbole and exaggeration, but at the same time, it is ingrained with the truth. Listen closely, because you may pick up a detail that we missed, something that could point us the way to Kyle. Hopefully, before it's too late. Kyle, if you're listening to this, know that we remember you, at least in bits and pieces in our brain. Everyone else, this is a call to action. Earlier this week, Han and I recorded an episode of Okay, So Hear Me Out with my old friend Kyle Roush. But upon completion, in post-production, we realized that we didn't have any of Kyle's audio. It had disappeared. More than that, however, it seems like Kyle himself was lost. Not simply physically. We couldn't just put his face on the back of a milk carton, but every trace that Kyle had ever existed was gone. We knew that this couldn't be true. Kyle was real, wasn't he? His face was just a blur in our minds, the sound of his voice a distant echo. So we had to find out if Kyle was real, or if he was just in our heads. The only evidence we had was our part of the conversation with him that we had recorded. So, that's where we started. At the beginning. Alright. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Okay, So Hear Me Out. I'm Aubrey Massey.
And I am Hannah LaFleur.
This is an imagination exploratorium where the two of us get together with a friend and we choose a topic and we use our creative brains in order to make the world a better and generally goofier place. Joining us today is my friend Kyle Roush. Kyle, say hello.
There. A name. Kyle Roush. And he did say hello. At least we're pretty sure he did. That name and that hello, that couldn't have just been a trick played on us by our own minds. Right? We needed more concrete evidence than just those two things.
Kyle has 3 loves in his life. His first one is his wife, but we're not going to talk about her on this podcast at all. We don't care.
How to make
Not
Kyle's
relevant.
wife better.
But
And that's where we hit our first roadblock. We did talk about Kyle's wife. We talked to Kyle's wife quite recently, seeing if she could remember Kyle. But she couldn't. She just said that she felt something had just left her life recently, but she couldn't put her finger on what. Could that something had been Kyle?
this isn't a marriage advice podcast, but his 2 other loves are gambling and drinking.
Gambling, drinking, a man of fine taste. These were words that I said as if I knew exactly who Kyle was. But now as I rack my brain, it's just not there. But that's when I started listening to my own anecdotes about Kyle, old stories that I had to tell about the man that he is. I just don't know anymore.
One time I went on a cruise with Kyle, and I don't think I saw him for 3 days straight because he just stayed on the cruise in the cruise casino while everybody else went around the boat and on ventures and things like that. So that's how much he loves it. It's funny, that's the exact quote he said after he had lost so much money in the cruise casino.
Damn. I wish I knew what he said. It sounded like that was a good roast. After that, Hannah began to pitch ideas about new and better casinos, something that it seemed like Kyle had loved. There must be a clue as to who Kyle was and, well, is within that conversation.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure.
I don't have it. I only have one idea, and I don't really want to use it because I think that after anybody hears my one and only idea,
they'll just turn off this they'll exit whatever podcast app they're listening to.
All right, so we're starting off small ideas first. I've just got like this little thing, and if this was changed for me, I might actually be at the casino a heckin' lot. So what if instead of gambling money, we just gambled
With our lives.
No.
Okay.
I needed less hard than I want to gamble cookies. All right. I mean, it's similar to my life, but just cookies. So like I walk in with like 2 chocolate chip cookies, and then by the end I could leave with like 12. And to me, that's worth way more value, like in my heart, than paper money ever could be.
Is this a casino ran by everybody's grandmother collectively?
Yeah. I mean, if we change the overall aesthetic of casinos, to that might.
Grandma Carol's Cookie Casino.
Yeah, there you go. It's like it's the grandmother in the game Candyland. What's her name? Like the old lady.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm not a Candylandologist.
Yeah, well, it's that old lady.
I haven't studied the lore of Candyland.
Well, it's the one old lady in the game. It's like her. So like it's like a little cottage, and then you do some very basic kind of gambling, and you just leave with more cookies.
Good news about cookie casinos in the woods is that any children that enter get put into a pot and then eaten by a witch, because that's what happened to candy-based.
They kill the
places.
witch.
That's when Kyle started explaining the ins and outs of the cookie casino business. He laid out a business plan, how the casino was going to be able to make money, what the gains and losses were, but we can't put our finger on the exact words and phrases he used, just general impressions.
Yeah, I think it's a happy ending.
And you can still overcharge for cookie baking materials for once people run out. They go to the back, the bakery in the back where they can bake their own cookies.
Yeah. Right, like worst case scenario, you lose 2 cookies, but I bet that this place is so nice that they wouldn't even.
The worst case scenario is losing 2 cookies?
Yeah.
Is that the most you can lose in this casino?
He laid out the perfect idea. A cookie casino that serves milk instead of alcoholic beverages. Or maybe an alcoholic milk beverage if that tickles your fancy. It was genius. There was a great mind there. But now that mine is gone.
Right. I'm thinking my go-to milk beverage is like vanilla almond milk. So I think I'd like some of that, or like ice cream would be a little bit, a step up, some kind of like milkshake.
Do people get kicked out of this casino for counting chocolate chips?
That's beautiful. Like this cookie is worth way more than that cookie. It has 8 chocolate chips.
Oh, could you imagine the house when somebody bets 3 chocolate chip cookies and they find out it's oatmeal raisin? Oh my god.
That's when Kyle started listing off all of the cookies that he knew that were like other cookies. It was like the world's first cookie dictionary, but in his brain. He really did love cookies. So we checked all the bakeries locally and around Kyle's area, but to no avail. Kyle wasn't picking out on cookies somewhere.
Or like also like their brand, like Chips Ahoy cookies not worth very much, but like 10-minute bake in the oven cookies are like middle of the road, like pretty good. Like you still bake them in the oven.
The Great Value is a little bit lower than the Nestle brand.
Right. But they're both equal in my heart because I love Great Value. I think this is a great idea. What if, so like the jackpot, would that be like a cookie cake, you think?
I guess, or maybe I just kind of like the visual of somebody saying, I'm going all in, and they pull out a tray of cookies, like a pan of them that they just freshly pulled out of the oven, and just slide it off all of them onto the table, and everybody's like, ugh.
Were those homemade?
Kyle kept throwing out more and more great ideas, the best one being that once somebody wins a large amount of cookies, they also get large gallons of milk dunked onto their body.
Yeah, normally it's Nickelodeon slime at most casinos, but I'm glad that they decided to upgrade it.
This is beautiful. Yeah. I like the world where this kind of casino lives in it. I haven't... You go. Go ahead, yeah.
That's when Kyle came up with his greatest idea yet. He quoted an earlier episode of Okay, So Hear Me Out when Hannah and I talked about airplane passengers taking up more seats than necessary. Kyle explained that in excruciating detail that we needed to take all those people and round them up. The ones that did rude things in social situations. We would put them in the Hunger Games, Hunger Games that we would host in our casinos, and then we would have our guests place best bets on who would win, and then at the end be allowed back into society. It seemed too dark for something for Kyle to say, and that made me think, was Kyle that sadistic? Or was Kyle just a darker part of my mind trying to give me these ideas?
Yeah, fuck people. Let's do this game.
Yeah, this isn't gonna blow up in our faces at all. Okay, So let me get this straight. I'm gonna summarize what you just told me. So we take all the people that we don't like, right? That are doing dumb things in society, and you want to take those people and put them on an island where they kill each other, and then we're supposed to assume that the winner will be the person that fits in society the best when they come back? I called him out on it, but, well, was this really an argument between two friends, or was this an internal struggle of my own morality? Either way, it seems that a more peaceful resolution was found, whether that was between me and Kyle or between me and the darker version of myself. So the challenges are more like, this is proper etiquette in public. So, social survivor. Of course, that didn't stop Hannah from coming up with even more sadistic ideas than the Hunger Games.
That's a good tackling.
Thank you.
I have a good thing that you guys made me think of. What if, like, you took all those people and people who just piss you off, and you made them do, like, timed mathematic equations, and you got to bet on who's going to finish first. That kind of thing used to piss me off in second grade. I wouldn't mind doing that to people if they were mean to me now.
I like it, but the problem is I think that it could be streamlined directly to television, right? All of these ideas could just be television series, and people sit at home and gamble. It's not necessarily a casino game, unless we have a casino where in every room there's a different kind of game like that going on that you have to watch live in order to bet.
I have an idea for a room. If we're doing something like that. Okay, so you go into this room. It's filled with crabs. Okay, this is a true story from my childhood. There's these kind of...
A room full of crabs?
No. Okay. Well, actually, yes. So my dad's a marine biologist. I was often in a room full of crabs. And sometimes I was catching crabs.
Oh, that's crazy, because I'm generally surrounded by people with a lot of STDs.
Yeah, no, I was just surrounded by crabs without STDs.
See, Kyle's always around crabs that have STDs. That was our next clue. Kyle was always surrounded by crabs with STDs, so we checked all of the beaches and we checked all of the free clinics, but to no avail. No crab-filled rooms, and no Kyle.
So, like, there's this kind of racing that they used to do at booths during Biology Society, I don't know, whatever. I don't think it's animal cruelty, but now that I'm thinking about it as an adult, maybe a little bit. I don't know. You guys decide for me. So you take the crabs and you put them in the center of a circle, and then you say, like, 1, 2, 3, and you let go of them. And whichever crab gets to the outside of the mat first wins. I think this could transfer to a casino. You got to bet money or cookies on these kind of like little fiddler crab races. I don't know. This is animal cruelty. I'm saying it out loud.
Kyle took that idea and ran. He came up with an idea that It was just battling animals against each other. Going on a cruise ship where every time that you stopped, you'd have a different local animal fight or race. It seemed twisted to me. I kept going back to the thought of, was Kyle evil? Or was Kyle the evil side of me? Unfortunately, we chimed into this idea. Bears.
No, that'd be sad. Now that we're like onto mammals, I can see how cruel we'd actually be being to these animals. Maybe you have to like, what if it's just like things like seahorses or like jellyfish racing?
Yeah, because seahorses don't have
racing.
feelings.
No, that's not what I said.
That's what you implied.
Oh man, you're right. You got me. I don't know how to do this in a way where we don't hurt the animals.
So this is all happening in the back rooms of Grandma Carol's Cookie Casino, I guess. This isn't a separate thing. This is all in one establishment now. That's where we're at.
Well, let's think about like horse racing. I don't think is considered animal cruelty because of the way the horses are treated, right? So what if you had...
I'm sorry. I don't know. I like to read about horse races. I never watch, but I love reading about them. And it's always sad because they don't always make sure the tracks are good enough for these horses, and they break their legs, and then they get shot because they can't make it after they break a leg.
Well, okay, so what if it was something like there's a butterfly room?
Okay,
and you didn't do anything to the butterflies.
And that was it. No other details to that plan. Hannah just wanted a room full of butterflies.
Okay, what's another room idea?
Oh, there are so many room ideas in which you can take people that you don't like and then gamble on what they do through some series of torture. We've already mentioned teaching people how to act in social situations. You've mentioned making them do math. You could...
What about surveillance? Like
you just mean spy on people.
Yeah, and like you bet on like how many times they're gonna do some stupid mannerism that they always do.
So it's the Truman Show meets casino.
Correct. I don't
How
mind
many times is Truman gonna masturbate today?
Yeah, right. Like I don't mind being cruel to people, you know? Like just fuck all the people. Let's Truman Show some people.
Kyle seemed to know every little detail about the Truman Show. It was almost creepy, but it gave us a lead. We called Jim Carrey, who refused to answer our phone calls because we're nobodies in comparison to him. Hey, in the back room of this, in the back room, it's just Mary Berry and Paul Hollywood forced to do more seasons of The Great British Baking Show. Because that's what Grandma Carol gets off on, I guess.
I could bet on that. I would love to bet on that show. I'm
sure if you Googled it, you could find somewhere to place bets on who's going to win the Great British Baking Show this year.
Or just like bet on how many times Paul Hollywood says underproved.
And soggy bottom.
Yep.
Kyle, have you ever watched the Great British Baking Show? Kyle said no. He had never watched the Great British Baking Show. And we explained it to him for 15 minutes. That's when I truly started to doubt if Kyle was real. I would never actively befriend somebody who hadn't watched the Great British Baking Show before. I don't know how the conversation got to this, and I don't know what Kyle did to prompt me to say something so stupid, but that's when I unveiled the one idea that I had prepared. Be warned. It's bad. Are you guys ready for my worst idea that I have for this? It's not a good idea. All right. Your favorite game's blackjack, right? Is that right? Okay. Now what if it wasn't just blackjack anymore? It was Jack Black's blackjack. Thank God. It didn't need to go any farther than that. Only Satan could imagine the horrors that would inflict this earth if we invented a game called Jack Black's Blackjack. We changed the topic to a different kind of C word.
What if when you gambled, this is another idea, instead of cookies or money, you got like compliments? Because like I thrive on like getting compliments from my superiors. Like that's that keeps me going. So like, if you won,
Compliment casino.
yeah, someone would come by and be like, "Hey, you did a really good job on this. Oh yeah, I was super impressed with your work." And then they just like walk away, and then that would just fill me with so much happiness. But they somehow made themselves look like people that you, I guess, admire. Like for me, I have a few college professors that come to mind. Just stuff like that.
Kyle had many great ideas about a compliment casino, but unfortunately, I can't remember the details. Part of me thinks that it's because I can't really remember Kyle, but honestly, I just wasn't listening.
I think that it would be one of those things that you take everybody out of their cubicles and out of the workplace, and you take them to the conference call compliment casino is what it would be called, I think. And then you force them to sit down and they have to bet compliments, and that's how people start to like each other in your workplace. It's one of those things.
I do remember his one question. If you get a compliment when you win, what happens when you lose?
Fuck you, Jared! I don't know.
Fuck you, Jared. Your feet stink, and so does the food you heat up at lunch every day.
No.
Maybe that you just have to reverse the compliment giving. So like, if
you lose, you have to be the one to give other people compliments.
correct, yeah.
I don't know. I'm still partial to every time somebody loses, you have to say "fuck you, Jared," and that's it. You can't, even if their name is like Clarence or Jenny. It has to be Jared.
It could turn like real passive aggressive though the other way. Like if I'm Jared and I lost against Paul, I'd be like, well, Paul, you look very nice today.
That's really passive aggressive. I thought you were gonna go somewhere along the lines of more like, well, Paul, I just love the way that you just say things without even considering what's about to come out of your mouth.
I admire that in a person.
Right.
I
admire the fact that you never think about the words that you're going to say before you say them. No matter how dumb it is.
Or like, Paul, I really admire the way that you don't care about how you look in the morning. You just come to work just like you wake up. I wish I had that same attitude about my natural self.
That's when Kyle hit us up with the greatest idea of all time. Combine the cookie casino with the compliment casino.
Is this not a different casino? Okay, so we're just building...
This is like, an alternative casino.
Where do we put this casino? So we've got the cookie casino, the compliment casino, so it needs to start with a C. Colorado.
Well, where are casinos legal? Not everywhere, right?
Oh,
No.
Don't worry. When we pitch this idea, they're going to be fine with us having a casino.
So we're bringing it to Colorado. This empties up another whole realm of possibilities.
Do you know what group of people probably loves compliments and cookies more than any other people in the world?
High people.
I was going to say Canadians.
Oh.
But...
Dang,
Maybe.
I thought
So Colorado, is where the cookie casino
cookies
could definitely
and
go.
compliments.
The
Yeah.
compliment casino could also go in Canada. It could be both. We've got a franchise going.
I've got it. So you need to market to a different crowd. Because, like, as me as a person, I've never really been attracted to casinos. They give off the vibe of, like, hey, come here to do bad things. Be just
That's because you
gamble.
were raised Catholic.
Yeah. Come... Right. Come gamble and sin and stuff like that. But what if the casino was like, oh, good morning. Pleasure to see you here. Yes, today we're offering a 2-for-1, cookies and cake. Like, just super like.
Oh my gosh, you're Grandma Carol, aren't you?
Yeah. Just a totally different atmosphere. It attracted, I think millennials more than the old.
Oh, you
old
put
people.
up bingo nights, then also a room where a bunch of old people play bingo and you bet on who gets it first.
So they're playing bingo and betting on that, and we're betting on
And
the
we're
old
betting
people.
on them. I think to make it sustainable, one, we've already covered that. You have to bake your own cookies, and you can do that inside the casino. So we've got baking supplies and everything. You have to put in like a quarter in order to use the oven. You've got all that kinds of stuff. People have to pay to participate in the games that people are betting on, or they're forced to do it. So it's free labor, one of the two. It's either free labor or we get paid to do it. There's, of course, some illegal backroom things happening that
like,
only Grandma Carol knows about. But
slightly
since
illegal.
she is the face of this casino, she can get away with anything. We could also sell t-shirts.
Everything after that idea was complete garbage. It's actually maybe a good thing that we lost so much of Kyle's audio, because none of us could have a good idea after that. At least that's what I'm led to believe with the memories that I have of Kyle.
Jack Black's Blackjack is already in.
See? Nothing else good came up.
I've got Jack Black Blackjack, and I don't have another one for like poker or slot machines or anything like that.
What the hell is wrong with me?
Just because I love them, I don't see how their names would fit into our business. But let's get Tina Fey and Amy Poehler to promote our business with a really funny commercial. Like they're dressed as Jack Black, and they're promoting Jack Black Blackjack, and then Jack Black walks in dressed up as a giant cookie. He's like, "Yeah, come play."
The fact that we continually decided to go back to Jack Black's Blackjack made me think that maybe we were delusional. I mean, who else would do something like that?
I think we need to get off this train. This is nothing.
Yeah.
Thank God.
You're right.
This is absolutely nothing. We haven't talked about alcoholic beverages once.
Let's think about, so if the most important alcoholic beverages that could go with the casino that we've prescribed. So we've already mentioned the milk. What's another like essential to go with these things?
To go with milk and cookies?
Not to go with any of the
Why
things
is
I
Santa
mentioned.
Claus not one of our sponsors? He loves cookies more than anybody.
Scooby-Doo. Are Scooby Snacks cookies?
I think they're dog treats.
Okay,
But we
still.
can fix that and make them cookies.
Okay, but alcohol. Is there, so like my first instinct is like, well, cookie flavored beer, but that sounds kind of disgusting, and it's probably already been done very poorly. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, probably.
But what if like the alcohol is just straight up vanilla extract?
You could open up a comedy sector of it where people, because you need more entertainment than just gambling, I think. Because they always have people come in to casinos, right? And they do shows. On comedy nights, you serve rum and jokes.
Unfortunately, the conversation moved back to Jack Black themed casinos.
School of Rock beverage, alcoholic beverage would be either non-alcoholic beverages for the kiddos.
Anytime that you order a drink, you say, "I want this on the School of Rocks," and then that means you want it on the rocks.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah. Or the real version of that alcoholic drink would just like a margarita with like, instead of salt, just like cocaine on the on the rim. There we go.
I think Jello shots could be cello.
Yeah,
you got yourself a bass shots.
Yeah.
That's a
There we
good
go.
one. You're tacky and I hate you is just it's a drink, and it's just everything mixed together.
Or
which is a good one.
I'm not cool enough to be in the band drinks.
That means you want it warm.
Yeah, or it's sake.
Or wow, that might be racist.
I mean,
Just because that kid's Asian.
Lawrence is Asian. I think it's still, maybe it's racist. I don't know. Is that racist? I think it's a good idea. More than it's racist. I don't think more.
We'll see if people yell at you on Twitter later.
We'll see. Yeah.
About what you said, if it was racist or not.
At the end of this, after listening back to everything that we had said, we were no closer to finding Kyle than we were before. We didn't really have any definite answers if Kyle was real or not. There was no background noise, no validation that Kyle ever existed. But that didn't stop us. It's not stopping us now. We still feel as if he's here with us, or at least he was. That's why we're asking you for help. You, the listener. We need to find Kyle Roush. Any detail that you can spare, any sighting that you have of a Kyle Roush in your area, we need to know. If you have any information relating to the disappearance of Kyle Roush, you can email us at oshmocast@gmail.com. That is oshmocast@gmail.com. Or you can message us on Twitter. We are at OkSoHearMeOut. Please, Kyle Roush needs you. The search for Kyle Roush is brought to you by Positive Thoughts, a podcast network that hosts shows like Okay So Hear Me Out and Boss Fight with Austin and Aubrey. Positive Thoughts. Listen more, learn more, laugh more. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to the 9th episode of Okay So Hear Me Out. See you next week.